We are living in unprecedented times. No matter what industry you come from, we must all review, rethink, and reinvent ourselves. Are you an entrepreneur that is trying to adapt your business to the new norm? Well, you are listening to the 2020 Entrepreneur, a podcast that will motivate you and have you think outside of the box. My name is Hugo Almeida, and with over 30 years of being an entrepreneur, I am here to share and inspire you with my experiences and help invent a new you. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to T20E World. Hugo here, and today I'm excited because we did something totally different this time. We selected one of our followers randomly, and congratulations, Isaiah Williams from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, sir.
So what we did is, after selecting the individual, we contacted them. We invited them to spend the day with myself and just to kind of see what the day of an entrepreneur and all the directions we get pulled in. And Isaiah came over to our studios, spent the day with me, chatted the whole day. And I got to tell you, Isaiah, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as well.
A true gentleman, a young entrepreneur, and I enjoyed every moment that we had. It was great. It really was.
Amazing.
We talked a lot, and I learned a lot from you. And I
learned a lot from me. I learned a lot from you. Oh man.
I hope you enjoyed your day.
Yes, I definitely did. Guys, if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, just be ready for the grind. Just be ready to be how busy. Just to be on your toes. To be moving around, not to stay in one place. Because this guy started from 8 o'clock. Oh man, 5 calls in 5 minutes. No joke, guys. No joke.
Well, sometimes I don't want my day to go in that direction, but sometimes it just has to. And today was one of them days where I had you as a guest all day, and I'm like, oh man, another phone call, and I had to take them, and you know that. So thanks for your patience.
Of
you know
course,
what I mean?
Thank you for just letting me see that.
Yeah. So Isaiah Williams, talk to us a little bit about your background. You studied at University of Buffalo.
Yes, University of Buffalo. I did journalism for 2 to 3 years. I love writing. I love talking to people. I love people.
Wow. It shows, man.
Yes,
it shows. I mean, we connected. We connected immediately.
Immediately.
Man. Yeah.
Immediately. And like that's those things, like chemistry, you can't fake. You can't fake those things like that. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to
dude, I appreciate that.
I have a bunch of questions.
Oh yeah, listen, and that's what we talked about.
Today.
Yeah, man. So we kind of wanted to do this on the podcast and kind of save some of the key questions that you had. I know that we conversed a lot throughout the entire day.
Most
and, you definitely asked away, and I try to get you the best advice and some questions and answer them to the best of my ability. Right.
Right.
So listen, I do want to share with everybody a little bit about your passions that I learned today. And I know you write music, man.
I do.
I heard some of those beats, right?
Yes. So
you do this on a daily basis.
Yes, I do it. This is one of my passions. I love making music. I'm going to continue making music.
That's so cool.
To the day I die.
Yeah, so maybe a little later we'll share some. We'll put the live. Yeah, it was good.
Absolutely.
And then you're a fitness instructor.
Yes. I'm all about grinding and shining. I'm all about, making people the best version of themselves.
Awesome.
And staying positive and motivated no matter what.
I need everybody. I need to go on YouTube by February because he's got me on a new meal plan and a workout schedule.
Yes. Changes will be coming.
So Isaiah, thank you, man. I greatly appreciate that.
Yes,
now I got to get a little bit more disciplined on the areas of fitness. So listen, let's open the mic up, and it's all about you now. Ask away. The mic is yours, my friend.
Yes. So one of the questions I would definitely wanted to ask you throughout the day was, what would you change during your entrepreneurial career?
Like, okay, so what would I do different? Maybe,
what would you do
change
different?
it up? Okay. All right, so that's a good question because my passion for business, and I learned as a young boy that I did have an entrepreneurial spirit in me, way at a young age. I'm talking grammar school, right? So in the direction that I chose, that my path kind of took, I would not change that. What I would change is maybe my college years. I would have maybe changed my major because I truly wasn't sure. I went in as an art major. I switched over to industrial technology and I specialized in design. But I think I would, if I could redo it again, I would specialize in finance. And I'll tell you why. In business, at the end of the day, no matter what industry you choose, right, whether it's the fashion industry, branding, whether it's music, fitness, technology corporations, whatever it may be, right? It comes down to numbers, man. You got to understand the numbers. The numbers don't lie, okay? They don't. And one of the things that happened in my career early on, late 20s, early 30s, I didn't have that solid financial background. So I had to figure things out along the way. So my late 20s and early 30s, I learned a lot about finances the hard way, right?
Yeah,
We made a lot of money, we lose money. We make money, we lose money. But eventually, you get to master the rights and the wrongs of finances, right? So today, obviously, I got more years under my belt. I understand the financing of all businesses, no matter what it is and what industry you're in. So that is one of the things I would say, if I could do it again, one of the things I would change is definitely back in my college years, get a degree in finance.
Definitely. Do they even offer that in
Absolutely,
school?
yeah.
They didn't offer that in Buffalo, but hey,
Hey.
it is what it is. So, what is your pros and cons of entrepreneurship?
All right, so pros and cons. Well, definitely you set your own schedule as an entrepreneur, right? And again, what my schedule says, what my calendar says in a day, it changes. It changes. So I always say this, that you gotta keep flexible throughout your day. You know, you have to take certain calls, some video calls. Then there's some stuff that just pops up that you got to do. So your day can go in a totally different direction. But at the end of the day, you know, and I talk about this in other episodes, you know, respecting time and balancing the life, and, you know, and again, prioritization, it becomes a key factor in this. And the pros really is that you create that schedule once you master all of those components. So in my career, I've been able to spend so much time with my children and my family as they were growing up. So I experienced all this. I watched it happen. Every parent-teacher meeting, all their sports, all their school activities, I was there for that. So that's a huge pro. The cons, well, the cons really is you got different stresses, right? I try to eliminate what I call the double S, which is the stupid stresses that we create as people. I completely just, I don't even flinch at those things. I eliminate them because I got to deal with the bigger ones. And that's where I try to put my energy towards, is tackling some of the tougher challenges throughout the day, through situations, obstacles that come up as an entrepreneur that you got to deal with head on sometimes. And you know what? You got to come up with the best solution, because you're going to continue, right? You always are moving forward, and you always want to be on the incline of things. So you got to kind of take things with a grain of salt, with a level head, a good mindset. But again, understanding that would be one of the cons in business, that the stress levels sometimes fluctuate. They get high, they get low. They're your stresses, though, because you're the one that's dealing. When you go to corporate America, there's definitely stresses there. But at the end of the day, you know, it's the corporation. You know, they got to deal with the finances. They got to deal with other stuff. You know, your stress really could be closing that deal. It didn't close this week. In your business, you're dealing with all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I got to say, I just got to say this, Isaiah, the pros completely outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I want to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
What was your biggest challenge, you know, on your personal journey becoming an entrepreneur?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. Some of the challenges, I would say, you know, I go back to early in my career. You know, I had to figure out a lot of things. You know, unfortunately, I lost a great mentor of mine, my father, at a young age. Yeah, no. So he was a great man. I was blessed. I had him 23 years of my life. I learned a lot. I was his partner in everything he did work-wise. I worked with him since I was 5. So, yeah, I didn't have that father figure. So a lot of the things that came after the age of 23, you know, I didn't have a book to read and figure out. So, and it wasn't YouTube at the time, you know, I had to kind of figure it out in life. So those were a lot of the challenges that I dealt with. And then obviously I always had the spirit of entrepreneurship. So I launched a lot of my ideas. You know, some I think did very well and some did okay. None of them really like bombed, because I always had an idea that was better than the other. So I focused on the one that was growing the best, and eventually I created divisions out of the parent company, eventually Abitronix. Today, you know, it's a corporation. I'm the CEO of it, and technology. We've done business in 43 different countries, 6 continents. You know, that really is the one that grew. Out of all the little ones that I started, that really took off. So I applied all my energy, all my time in continuing to grow that company and taking that to another level.
So I remember you was telling me in the car on our way here, and, you know, besides you was talking on the phone with a bunch of people, you was saying that you started in corporate America. Well, you was at corporate America, and I was at corporate America too, and I didn't like it. So what did you what made you want to do, like, what did you didn't like about corporate America, and like, why did you, move towards entrepreneurship?
Yeah, well, like I said before, I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I always launched businesses. So prior to corporate, I already had a small business. But again, I graduated college, and I followed the footsteps of most people, which is after college, you get a job. But I was blessed because I was picked up by a company, a Japanese firm called Matsushita, which is Matsushita. Today, they're known as Panasonic of America. And eventually, I went up the ladder and headed up the Latin American sales division. That was my first really, just say, that launched my career in corporate. Traveled all the time throughout all of Latin America on a monthly basis. It was a little crazy, got a little hectic, as I started having a family, then eventually settled in, in a corporation that was based right out of New Jersey, which was Lucent Technologies in the telecom world, communication. And that was close to my home. So throughout my corporate years, right, since the early 90s through just the early 2000s, I went from Ashusta, I went to Lucent Technologies, spun off into Avaya. I learned so many great things. That's why I always say people should go to corporate just to kind of get the feel of how large companies work, how they function. Every department, has a life to it, and together create this large entity. I was blessed because throughout Latin America, I got to see how large corporate companies worked in Brazil, in Mexico, right? European corporations, Asian corporations, US-based corporations, and I got to walk into these buildings and really do business with them. So I got to see the real good stuff. I learned and saw a lot of bad things. I saw ugly things that I would not like. And I always promised myself that I would launch my own company. I would do all the good stuff out of corporate and forget the bad and the ugly. I'd leave that behind. And some of the things I felt that in corporate America that was lost was the compassion for the employee, and vice versa. The employee started losing the compassion for the corporation because there was loyalty. When I first started my career, when you talk to an individual, they had 38 years under their belt at the same company. There was loyalty to that company, and that company was loyal to them. Things changed, right? As things developed, as the internet came about, trust me, they put more pressures on corporate America, and you could be a hero one day and gone the next. So that's one of the things that I did not like no longer. What I saw at corporate, I just didn't like it. It didn't settle good with me. So by the end of the day, I went on my own, and here I am today, doing my thing.
Yeah, that great story. So last thing I want to ask you is what I preach to my family, my friends, my client, anybody who's willing to listen to me. I always say discipline is so important. So how did you stay disciplined, on your journey?
Yeah, man. It's just like yourself in fitness, right? We were talking about how you're so dedicated, even, throughout the day. You were asking me about a local gym,
Right.
in Jersey before you go back to Brooklyn. That takes discipline, right?
Right.
Same thing. And I'm not going to lie to you, Isaiah. There's days that you wake up and you're just shot, man. You just, you don't, that day is, we all get bad days, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like every day is a glorious day, but as an entrepreneur, you have the mindset, you're resilient. You only know one thing, and that's to move forward. So it does, at the end of the day, you learn to discipline the mind and understanding, right? Understand that there's going to be some days that, listen, it's going to be rainy, it's going to be icy, it's going to be cold, you know what I mean? Every day's not a warm, sunny day. So especially in New Jersey, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, you get that mindset as an entrepreneur, So the thing is this, what drives all of us is the fact that we all have that passion and love for what we do.
Right.
So every day when you wake up, one, I'm blessed because I woke up, and I always say that hundreds of thousands of people in the world did not wake up that day. And then I get up. Now, listen, I'm 54 now. I got aches and pains in my body, but I'm able to move, right? I stretch a little bit and my body's just back in gear and ready to go. Get that cup of coffee and start my day.
Right.
I start giving thanks, right? And then I grind. So I'm already in that mindset. I love what I do. It makes it that much easier. But to answer your question, it is discipline. There's days that you just kind of, you're tired, right? You're in that mindset. You're resilient. You know that, you're still going to get it done. Like there's days you wake up, you don't want to go to the gym, but when you get to the gym, you kick butt.
Yep. You already know, game time.
Yeah, game time. Yeah, that's it. So when I walk into my office, it's game time.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I definitely need to hear that for sure. Because I think it's important to stay self-motivated and always stay disciplined.
Absolutely.
And I
It's
always
key.
just wanted to get into your head and just ask, how did you stay disciplined? Because you're right.
So listen, I'm going to give you a little tidbit.
Yeah.
I spent the day with you.
Yes.
And I learned a lot about Isaiah Williams today. And you have all the key components, man.
Thank you.
You're a people person, no doubt. You have integrity, values, respect.
Yes.
And I thank you for that because it was a pleasure to spend that day with you. So I am, I'm just real happy that we were able to spend today and exchange a lot of information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So listen, before we kind of wrap this up, Isaiah, I want to share some of the beats, man. Would you connect that laptop?
Yes.
Connect it up, and I just want you to hear this.
All right.
This is
great.
Isaiah Williams. What are you going to drop for me here?
So this is a guitar.
Guitar?
John right here. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
I wish it was a better rapper. I start right now, man.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so take my time.
All right. So listen, let's keep this flow going here. And as we wrap up this session, it was a pleasure, Isaiah Williams, to have you here on T20E World.
Yes, thank you for
I
having me.
look forward. You have a mentor for life, my man.
Yes, thank you very, very much.
And this is Isaiah Williams and Hugo on T20E World, and we are checking out.
Out.